Just asked Scott if we could go live. He's about to tell me about his busy season.
This is our busy season at my work. I work at a place called MTM Recognition, and we do awards. And one of the big things we do is school awards. And so graduation season is very, very busy at my work. And I was working in a different department this afternoon or this evening. I stayed an hour late. I'm not going to go to work tomorrow. I got some personal business I need to do. And I left today with 41 and a half hours. So I don't have to go in tomorrow. Excellent. Which is good, but it's, normally I don't do that. On Fridays I work half day, so I don't work a lot of hours normally on Fridays anyway. But, so how you doing, Ellis?
Oh, pretty good. I wanted to tell you the weirdest thing. Well, I got two weird things. So this is, what did I title the name of this? Oh, yeah. Oh, well, never mind. That's just a dumb thing. Okay. Now, on the heading of weird, I don't know what's weirder. I'll start with one. I was surfing around on Tubi. I think it's Tubi. Okay. And I saw Electric Glide in blue. Now, that may be on Amazon, actually. It may be on Prime.
That is on Amazon.
Well, I think it is, too. Yeah, you're right. It's on Amazon Prime. I highly recommend it because it's made back when damn actors were good. Billy Greenbush.
Yeah.
It just tears it up. He's so good. He's in 5 Easy Pieces. Every time you see Billy Greenbush, you remember the part he was in because he's just tearing it up. So anyway, I'm watching Robert Blake, thinking about him and all that. And I said, you know what? That guy is just an obvious guy for a Tarantino comeback effect. Yeah. And then I said to myself, well, I'm going to get on Wikipedia, find out if he's even still alive, because I don't even know, lately.
I don't think he is.
No, he is. He is.
Oh, he is?
Oh, yeah, he is. I checked it. So I check on it, and I'm ripping down all his, all the sad stuff about his murder and all that. And I get down to the end, and I said, wait a minute, I just listened to that. What do you mean? And it said Tarantino dedicated his novel of Once Upon a Time in Hollywood to Blake. I said, really? You mean to tell me the synchronicity of me saying to myself,
what's he up
that
to?
Tarantino, he would be obvious for a Tarantino comeback. Hey, Scott, I can see your shorts in case you're like me and hardly ever take your hands off your boys. I thought you might.
I'll move it up.
Okay. Like right now, you can't tell it about me, but well, I guess you could actually. I ought to move mine.
I'm fine.
There we go.
I try.
No tubing on this one. You know what? Now the other damn weird thing, and I just had an Instagram message from Scott Adams 925, which, as far as I know, because of all the pictures on it, is the real Scott Adams. He's got 13,000 followers, and guess how many people he's following? 189. No, he's following 189. And I'm one of them. Just recently,
out of here.
within the hour.
Oh, within the hour.
And now I just got a message from him.
Maybe he's taking over the world.
It just says hello. Now, what am I supposed to do with this? Am I supposed to treat this like this is really Scott Adams that just said hello to me, or what? I don't know.
Sure. Why not? What if it is?
Well, how can it be? That's the deal.
See, this is literally, I think, the difference between you and me and our life, our philosophical outlook. Because you see something like that and you're like, it cannot be him.
Well, yeah,
and I look at it and I go, well, it's probably not, but what if it is? Why not,
Why would he send me a message that just says hello? I'm going to try it. I'm going to say, hey,
You at least got
I'm
to
going to
respond
just
back.
say, hey, Scott, good show today.
There you go. That's and then
And
if
then,
it's not him,
and then I'll just
and he
say,
says,
thanks for the
I
follow.
yeah,
Thanks
there
for
you
the
go.
follow.
There you go. Thank you for the follow.
There we go.
Then
There we go.
you can if he God, I forgot my train of thought.
Okay,
sorry, I'm doing a couple things at once. No. Then you'll know it's not him if he turns around and says,
tries to sell me something.
Mr. Goodson, Mr. Goodson, I am an African prince and I need your bank account to transfer all my money. Then you know it's not him. But until then, you should live in the the what
Scott,
if realm of
your what if realm is how people send money off to the African princes.
Well,
you got to be like me. You got to say, what the hell? I am not what. Yeah,
I'm not worthy. I'm not.
The
worthy.
deal is, I remember kind of saying I needed to track Adams down on Instagram, and I thought I based it on what he said on one of his shows was his Instagram account. So I thought I had it well tracked down that the real Scott Adams was who I was following. And you know, 13,000 is not measly in terms of like followership, but he ought to be
it seems like he'd
bigger
be more than that.
Yeah,
maybe maybe the fake Scott Adams.
Yeah,
well,
that's the deal. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know what I was gonna say. Anyway, so I've got my. That's okay. So today I realized a deficiency in my skill set.
Okay.
And I feel like I need to draw more spaceships. And so I have
more environments. You're good at environments.
I'm good at environments. More actual craft. And what this came out of is I'd sent off samples.
That's old so and so. That's old so and so's book.
So and so's Joe Johnson, Empire Strikes Back sketchbook. Mm-hmm. I have the Empire. Look what I have here. I paid a whopping $3 for this beast.
My God,
I don't know
worth
how long
so much more.
I don't know.
So
and this
much
was
more than that.
Pretty rough. I mean,
you could sell that for whatever you felt like it.
Probably, which would be more than $3, but it's not for sale.
I had a book like that was what's his name, Ralph McQuarrie stuff.
Oh yeah,
Star Wars, and it had some good stuff in that. But I showed that to the kids at Cal Arts.
Oh yeah,
and they were all just totally disdainful of it, and said,
really?
"Oh man, I wish it was as easy to get work as when this guy was working."
Man, I would. Yeah, well, golly, this guy. We're all way better than him.
Yeah, so I could.
I
could kick this guy.
You're standing on his shoulders. You're standing on his shoulders, man.
Yeah.
You don't even know how good he is.
Because he's got his.
You know what I'd like?
Go ahead.
You know what I need to do? I want to make a font that looks like this.
A font that looks like a spaceship.
No, like that wording. I love that wording, and I can't find a good font that looks like that. You would think that would be
a good hand lettering font is gold. I mean, every time they come out with one, Comic Sans, still very popular.
No. Everybody hates Comic. I
don't understand it.
Diamond will automatically, I think it's Diamond, maybe it's Image, will automatically
reject
if
you.
Use Comic Sans, they will automatically reject you, which is, your
submission is
weird.
Done. Yeah.
What a weird way to and I feel like if somebody used it in a good way, they probably wouldn't. But they're just like, no, this marks you as a rookie because you don't understand Comic
Yeah.
Sans. It's
You
very
don't understand.
snobbish, I think.
You don't
You
understand our
don't understand
club.
lettering.
You don't belong in our
Well,
club.
exactly. Comic people are dicks.
Well, you know what? It took social media to find that out, I guess, because everybody that goes to
Oh yeah, now everybody knows
everybody
that.
goes
You
to
go to
cons. It's
Twitter,
like a group hug for the entire 3 days. But then
right?
you get
But
on social media and it's like, yeah, this guy, screw this
you know,
guy. Let's get him. Let's
I
pile
was
on.
I was on. I rarely go on Twitter, but I was on Twitter recently, and I realized through the interactions that I was missing part of a conversation. And what it was is there was an editor in chief that I've never met, never spoken to, never interacted with, has blocked me. And I'm like, why would this person block me? What have I done to? I don't know them.
Uh-huh.
It's like, are you kidding me? Um, but however, I will say this: at one point, when this person was at a different company, I'll say at Marvel, I sent them uh, some artwork, and I don't know if they ever looked at the art, but they definitely went because what I would do, Ellis, is I would send in art. I would send in submissions at one point to one person at a time and wait to see if I got a response. And I would watch my feeds and stuff to see if I got any hits anywhere,
Mm-hmm.
just to kind of, and that way I could kind of tell like who was up, what they were up to. And this person went to my I think they went to my blog, but they never looked at my art
Mm-hmm.
because it was a link, and they never went to where the link was, and just outright never responded or anything. And it's like, man, I didn't if somebody didn't like my art, that's fine, but just to be like, well, I don't like you because you're whatever
Yeah.
kind of intrinsic. But I think that's happened to me more than once.
Well,
I can't prove it.
We're all like that, though. I mean, we're split second impression people. You can't help that.
Oh yeah.
So yeah,
Yes.
so I should always be aware of that and realize that I shouldn't go out like I went out today, looking like completely like a bum in terms of like my shaving status. I was all bristly and all that.
One of my employees, he comes in every day. I don't think he shaves all week.
Yeah,
And then I think he shaves on the weekend.
and then comes in fresh on Monday.
Well, and there's not a. I mean, I don't care, except for he has a night job working at Office Depot,
Oh,
and I'm
got
like,
2 jobs.
so he's dealing with customers. Oh yeah, it drives me crazy because they'll call him, and I'm like, why are they calling you? You're on my clock right now. Well, they had well, we've had words about that.
Sure.
It's on my time, not their time. Screw them. And I'm like, I don't call them. Do you want me to call them? You want me to call you while you're up there? No, they wouldn't like that. I go, yeah, I bet they wouldn't. He's knocked it off a little bit, but I still go, and he'll like on the days he works there, he'll leave early, and I'll go, what are you doing? Well, I need to leave early because I go to work. And I'll say, well, is this your main job or is that your main job? Because that's one of the things in my work. They're like, this is your main job. And if you have another job that interferes with it, you have to decide.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not really putting on that spot, but I'm trying to point out because so he goes, well, this is my main job. And I go, which job do you make more money at? Because I know the answer to that.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, well, I did get a raise, but it drives me crazy because it's like, I feel like he's not loyal, as loyal. It's just like, why are you leaving early to go there?
Yeah.
But
I mean,
the thing is, he works his 40, so it doesn't really matter.
Is it like, it's a retail job, right? What is it? Because I hate that kind of work.
Office Depot.
Oh man, I'd really hate that work.
He's at the copier center.
Okay. Yeah, yeah. If
You
you're
what?
if you're goofing, if it's kind of a goof off job, might be all right.
Oh no. He takes it very seriously.
Okay. Hey, I got to go grab a
No, I've
pair of reading glasses, and I might as well grab the last of my coffee while I get it. I'm digging that open page of your sketchbook, Scott. Looks like you got some really
oh this.
interesting studies there.
Oh
Did you?
thanks.
Yeah, and it's all doubly impressive because you invented all of it. Pretty good
Except for
reads on
this.
all of it.
This is a
Oh, you copied that, huh?
that's a copy of a John Byrne panel,
Well,
but the
that's
rest
a good
of
way to
it's
go.
made up.
Do the copying.
Yep.
And do you feel like you copied his deltoid going into his pect just that way?
Oh my gosh, Ellis.
Okay, I'm never mind.
Hang on, wait.
Hey,
I'll find it.
I'm
And
gonna.
you
Oh,
can
fine.
finish.
You go find
Go
it. I'm
get
gonna
your
get my
go
coffee.
get your you get your coffee and get in a better mood. I can't see my TV's not on. I don't have my iPad, so I can't see if we're have anybody commenting, if anybody's watching. But if you are, thanks for joining. Sorry I was late. I had to work late. I'm trying to find this panel that I ripped off. Oh, right there. That's it. We'll see if Ellis thinks I copied his deltoid correctly. He may not. He may rip me a new one. I should fix it while he's gone. Anyway, this is a copy from this panel. Okay,
I'm back. I'm back.
feast your eyes on this.
Let's have a
Feast
look.
your eyes on this, Goodson.
Bring it up
Okay, this is the
close.
panel I copied it from.
Yeah, I see that. Yeah. Bring it up. Yeah, get it kind of
See?
close.
Did I?
Can you tell when you've got
To
it up
what?
close?
To you?
Yeah, to me,
You
to
mean no?
my viewpoint. Oh, there we go. Okay.
There.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay.
Do you think it was a good copy?
It's got a flaw that is important to you in terms of like you got to get it
Okay.
someday. And
Okay, tell me.
It goes
Tell me.
on with all of
Danielson.
it goes on with all your pectoral and your deltoid stuff. Now
Okay.
I'm not all that good. Here you go. I'll draw it real quick. What I
Okay, I'll
saw
stand up so I can.
what I saw on the I better get a big pen, something that
Yeah.
makes a big bold mark.
Something ink, so you can't change it.
Okay, yeah. Okay, you've got that
Only
copy.
fair.
You've got that copy where you got his deltoid is describing going down that way. Now, that deltoid needs to own that space in that pect needs to go
Okay.
underneath that. Right there, this intersection of yours needs to be worked out better. And you've got it. The pect is actually, it joins on just like about 3 spots, and then it goes under there in this one little spot to grab hold of that bone. So it's got like 3 heads on it, I think almost all, and it goes under that deltoid and it grabs the bone. And so you've got to always be thinking about when you draw your chest, and you like to draw the chest.
So
you've got to put the deltoid over the top of things. So you've got to change your description that your deltoids need. Your deltoids need to start dominating the space. Yeah.
More like this.
Yeah.
That
Yeah,
you're
yeah,
wanting
yeah,
to see
yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah. A little more like that. Yeah, a little cross contour across that way that says this shoulder is going here, and it owns that space.
Well, okay, so I've been
But
reading
that's a little heavy
that.
handed on it. But go ahead.
Well, I grabbed a 2B.
Yeah.
I've been
Okay.
reading Glenn Villapoo's book
Uh-huh.
about how to draw or whatever. And he talks about, and this is what I need to work. In fact, I'm taking off work tomorrow and I'm going to work on this. He talks about you draw.
Oh, guess
the
where my
egg.
reading. Okay, yeah, go ahead. Guess where my reading glasses
Where are your
were?
reading glasses?
They were on my head.
In the truck.
No, they were on my head, pushed up. So
I don't know if I should listen to any more of your advice.
I know it. I know it. But the reason I didn't detect them, of course, because I had my headphones on.
Oh, gotcha. Well, to be fair, my glasses are on my head too, but they're in front of my eyes.
Yeah.
Okay, so what Villapoo says is when you draw on the torso, you draw this. We'll make an egg shape, but it's the rib cage.
Yeah.
And then he says you come in, and I haven't studied this. I've just skimmed the whole book, and I'm going back through. But he talks about then putting your deltoids on top of it, like that. And I think that's what you're saying.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you just got to figure out what comes in front of what.
Well,
in draftsmanship is all about that. Your lines have to be describing what goes in front of what.
Yes. Otherwise, you have nothing.
Mm-hmm. And for you,
but that's how you get form.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no. Form, volume, all that. That's all based on draftsmanship. Is the definition of draftsmanship, basically. I can't believe these. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. Well, so my problem is I draw this for my rib cage, and then I'll come in and do my pectoral. And I need to get in the habit of cutting that deltoid in there, but then I run into problems. What I really need to draw is the clavicles, and then I can be like, okay, your deltoid goes way out here. That's where I really. It's not that I'm not cutting it in. I'm not really positioning it right, and I end up with a small chest.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'll show you, John Musso. Me having to pronounce things. John Musso. That's probably right. I bet you that's a good pronunciation. Says, good evening. He works for the Daily Wire with good old guys I used to know really well and should be able to think of their names. Ex-cop and another real cool
Ethan.
guy.
Ethan.
Ethan. Yeah. Ethan Nicole. Yeah. And another guy I know pretty well that wrote for a comedy channel that did really well. That I can't think
of. Are you being vague or forgetful?
What is funny, and I think John will appreciate that. This same person came up to me at a con, and I realized I was going to blank on his name, and it was, of course,
that's
one of my extremely awkward moments in life. Yeah. A guy I was seeing all the time.
Sometimes you have to bite the bullet. Sometimes you bite the bullet and go.
Yeah, but after you've seen somebody 20 times, tell them, and what was your name again? It's stupid,
God, that's not. What's bad is when you work with somebody, and I mean, like with somebody, like every day, and you just.
Blank on them.
You just have a blank of God. What's that guy's name?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, it can
That's
happen.
where you got to resort. That's where you got to resort to the, hey, Big Daddy, how's it going, man?
If I'm not mistaken, I probably did that to Barry, didn't I? At one point, do you have any memory of that? I probably blanked on Barry at one point during one of our sessions. Here we are being hosted by a guy, and it's like, what was your name again?
Yeah, it's like, I don't know. I figure one day I'll be there and I won't remember anything, and I'm hoping at that point I'm just alone and I don't have to worry about it.
Might be very pleasant.
Well, at some point, I think if you don't work, you don't have to remember a bunch of stuff, and then if you don't travel or you don't go anywhere besides who cares if oh, I saw you at the grocery store.
It might be identical to the mushroom experience. Who knows? Yep.
You mean like taking mushrooms?
Taking mushrooms.
Is that what you meant by the mushroom experience?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, well, it's funny you say that. When I was a kid, I used to work with this lady, and she, I don't know if she volunteered or she had previously worked with older folks, and she talked about them, not remembering stuff. Mm-hmm. And as a teenager, I was just horrified by that idea.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, they're real happy, so it's no big deal. And I'm like, okay, that makes sense. My dad kind of got that way for years he was that way, and it got worse, but he never, ever, ever went to me, who are you? And didn't know who I was. Mm-hmm. Now, I would leave the room, mm-hmm. and he would forget I'd been there, but thankfully, until the day he died, he never forgot who I was. That would have been a little tough.
Well, I think I told you that.
Luckily.
Yeah, that would be tough. I'm sure I told you this story because it made such an impression on me, and since it occurred at your dentist's, you remember that story I told you?
Oh yeah. I don't remember the story.
Well, there was this guy I recognized immediately. I said, "Oh my God, that's Buddy, not Buddy." Now I can't. I'm going to blank on his name, but anyway, it was a guy. Oh, Robert. It was a guy named Robert that I knew was one of my dad's best friends that worked with him in the elevator trade for 30-something years.
I don't think you told me that. At the dentist?
Yeah, at the dentist. He was waiting for his time.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I said, Drucker, Robert Drucker. I think, wait a second. Is that it? Yeah, well, I think that's his name. But anyway, I said, I'm Fred Goodson's son, Ellis. Because I figured, well, if there's any entree I need, it's just
Ellis.
tell him about the guy you worked with, Fred, for 30 years. The guy you went to the Mummers Theater with a few times and all that stuff. And he just had a complete blank about who Fred Goodson might be. It was wild. And
really?
And he was in the best mood and all that. And yeah, they told me, the dentist later when I was in there with them, saying, "Oh, okay, wow, isn't that amazing?" Yeah, we know that he's like that. Unfortunately, I don't work for the Daily Wire, but I wish that was the case. You do some sort of freelance with them. Some sort of.
See, there we go, Ellis.
Yeah,
you're doing it. Oh my gosh!
I refuse to accept that my data is not correct.
There you go. Yes, you do work for the Daily Wire.
I think you need to check your facts.
Yeah, have you looked at your CV lately?
Yeah.
You may be.
Yeah.
You may be off. Maybe you should. Maybe it's a sign. Ellis is a precog.
Yeah, with that Robert Blake thing. Pretty damn amazing.
There you go. I on Facebook. I know you're not on Facebook, but I'm on Facebook for some reason.
You know what? I am to the extent that I'm on Instagram. I saw that little logo. Yeah, I'm on Facebook. I'm in the tentacles.
Oh, you are, aren't you? Because if you're on Instagram, I can link you.
I guess so.
You'll never see it. You'll never see it though.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and I know why you're not on Facebook. You're not on
Yeah.
Facebook. Same reason my brother wasn't on Facebook until he had to join for a job. You know, they
Yeah.
wanted him to promote on Facebook. But I forgot what I was going to say.
What?
Oh, no. On
You may
Facebook,
need some medication.
on
Go ahead.
Facebook, I joined a group called Cassette Futurism,
Hmm.
and it's okay. So you're familiar with Cyberpunk, of course,
Oh yeah.
right?
I
And
did
then
a
you're
game.
familiar
I did a game called
Shadowrun.
Shadow. That's right. Thank you.
Um,
Shadowrun. Go ahead.
and then you're familiar with steampunk, kind of an offshoot of it. Well,
Yeah.
there's all kinds of little permutations of that now, and one of them that fascinates me is called cassette futurism,
Hmm.
and it's more a visual aesthetic. And so and so in the group I said, what would be a cassette futurism novel? And I suggested something. And man, I just got lambasted about it. You don't understand. Oh my
You don't
God.
get it.
Oh, it's funny because this group is languished with a post here and there. And people just kind of the woodwork just to rip me a new one about how I don't know what. And I mean, most of them aren't that bad, but you know, some are like, oh no, no. And my suggestion, because the idea of cassette futurism, as I understand it, is the visual aesthetics of like late 70s, but like future, like Sid Mead. Sid Mead would be a good example. A lot of Sid
Yeah.
Mead's illustrations, or 2001: A Space Odyssey. You know,
Mhm.
something that you look at it, and you're like, that is hopelessly antiquated. But they were predicting but it was set in the future. You
Mhm.
know,
Right.
and so I was like, what would be a novel? What's some? And so my thought, when I thought about this before I mentioned, my thought was it would be a book that was written in the past that incorrectly judged or depicted the future. You know, just kind of extrapolated like, well, you know, and it tends to be around like, just think about like your typical 70s aesthetic, but then like pushed into space. That's kind of or into the future at least. And so my suggestion was Neuromancer. And I know it's a cyberpunk book, but my thought was, you know, there's so much in it that is not, you know, they have payphones, and he talks about tube
Right.
televisions, and there's a lot to me.
There's a lot
Even
of
though it
inner, whatever we
there's
call
a
that,
yeah there's a
anarchistic or whatever.
yeah there's a lot of 80s baked into that, you know, and the character, the main character, wears khakis and a nylon windbreaker. Well, in modern cyberpunk, no one wears khakis, you know, everybody's wearing leather, and so the genre, I think, has changed from its roots. Anyway, but they were kind of ripping me about it. But anyway, somebody suggested, which this is, again, this goes back to my original idea. Somebody suggested I read some Larry Niven, because they were like, oh yeah, you know, but my thought was, you know, Neuromancer, they don't have cell phones. You know, I think the internet is wired everywhere. They're always wiring stuff. You know, it has payphones. It has, you know, a lot of stuff is, you know, nowadays or then at least. But
Probably another one would be John Brunner stuff I was reading back then.
You know, that's amazing. You said that. Somebody recommended Shockwave Rider. That's John Brunner, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think
that
so.
is funny. Well, that was one of the, and Heinlein. Somebody recommended Heinlein and Asimov, but people argued that was more set like in the 50s kind of aesthetic.
Yeah, maybe, not Brunner though. He wrote something called "Stand on Zanzibar," and
Oh yeah, I've got that too. I've got that.
that was all about like you know, thinking it's
Overpopulation.
really cool to have a pair of sap gloves that you put on your gloves and then you hit your hand against a wall, and the glove reacts by solidifying around your hand, and right there you've got a deadly weapon.
Oh, gotcha.
So that's the tech that they're talking about. It's like, give this a hard wrap, and now you've got a pair of sap gloves. That will kill somebody. That's just one thing I remember. Yeah, just about anybody that was in Dangerous Visions probably.
Maybe
could probably fit in there.
Oh yeah, maybe the Dangerous Visions anthologies itself. I found a real good copy of that cheap the other day, not too long ago.
Really? Did you buy it?
Yeah. Yep. It was
Cool.
the paperback, but I mean, it was like a buck, and I was like, I think I have this, but if I don't, if I do, this would be a good reading copy.
Can you name the name of the real good friends that were the graphic designers that Ellison made sure had the job of working on his book?
What? No.
The graphic designer. This is
trivia, or is this a question?
Trivia. It's a question.
Oh, Can you? Me?
Yeah.
Can I name the graphic designers that had Ellison? Ellis or Ellison?
Ellison's book, Dangerous Visions, did the illustrations throughout.
Okay.
And the cover. Leo and Diane Dillon. I'm pretty sure of that. For some reason, I can remember that. You talk about your weird things that you can remember. Yeah,
that is a weird thing to remember, Ellis.
Yeah, they were just apparently they were apparently very tight friends. That's the deal. You didn't want to be Harlan Ellison's enemy by any stretch.
No.
But I guess when you became his friend, you better watch out. That's a guy's in your army. He's going to see to it you're treated well.
That's good. That's what you want.
Oh,
right?
Yeah, that's what you want. Absolutely. But the enemy part.
That's like,
I don't know if I want to meet this Ellison.
He
might put me in the enemy slot.
You got to be careful about that. That's the thing. Like at my work, the owner comes around, and if you don't really know him or he doesn't know you, you don't talk to him. But if he talks to you, he might ask you a million questions. And I mean, I don't know that you'd get fired for not knowing the answer, but boy, you sure feel like you're under the gun and he wants to know what you're working on and how things are going, and which, I mean, I'm glad he's interested, but man, it's nerve-wracking.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah,
there's kinds of people with, you talk about your talent. I know a guy, when you're absolutely dead, that, hey, man, you guys got lucky when you hired me. When you've got that ability and that self-confidence, that is so good. And Mike Deets at the Neverhood, John the Soul, may dig this, but Deets, he's the guy that got me hired at Heavy Iron. And I tell you what, Dietz was the guy that he could be in cutoffs or whatever and a tank top, and he'd walk into the president's office when he was whatever. He's just one of those guys that, hey, you hired Mike Dietz. You get Mike Dietz.
This is what you get.
This is it. And boy, I tell you what, people responded to that too. He was well liked by the suits, very well liked.
Yeah, I think
that confidence. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, that's the thing. Well, I've noticed that with the owner of the company I work for. If he comes into your office and you just fawn over him, he'll kind of give you the cold shoulder sometimes. But boy, if you kind of act like, nah, whatever, I got other things to do.
I doubt it.
I doubt your attention.
Yeah. I doubt if Deets has ever fawned over anybody. I would doubt it. But yeah. Oh, I'm sure he'd give anybody their due. I mean, no, he was one of these guys that had his laser discs for all of his extensive animation library. I don't know if he still got them. It seems like you could have those as MP4s at this point, but at one time he was so nuts about animation.
It was stuff he did.
No, it was
Stuff he
just
did, or stuff that
it was his library of animation he wanted to have close to him for reference and all that.
Yeah. Oh yeah. What was some stuff he would? Do you have any idea what?
Oh, everything Warner Brothers ever did. He had all that.
That's probably a good thing to have.
Oh yeah. When you're saying my identity is an animator, he's he met Doug at Shiny, and of course did a lot of animation on Earthworm Jim. And, and was he Aladdin?
Oh really? So he was. No, Earthworm Jim wasn't hand drawn though, was it?
Oh yeah. Yeah, and Earthworm Jim was.
It was
hand drawn, scanned, hand drawn. Yeah, the video game, hand drawn, scanned, and then given the treatment. Yeah, it was done very traditional animation, pencil tests, all that kind of stuff, getting the animation right. That's the thing. It wasn't.
Oh really?
Yeah, it wasn't done. And this again is the force of personality of Dietz. He's saying, well, everybody's doing this wrong. We just need to do it like we're animators. And instead of, sitting still with deluxe paint, which everybody used, and try to do it, which deluxe paint had a lot, and deluxe animator had a lot of very good tools. And that's ultimately what it went into. But they scanned their drawings. And then, of course, they have to do things with the 8-bit, the 8-bit colors they're allocated and all that. And then they've got to be geniuses all over again. Get that right. But
anyways, so yeah.
Go ahead.
So what's he doing now? I'm shocked that Earthworm Jim was hand. And of course, it makes sense having played it.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It plays like an animated cartoon.
Sure. Yeah. That's another thing. Deets, no doubt. Now he was working with real genius programmers, but that's another thing. You always had to go to the carpet with your programmers. They'd always want their memory for this and that. And would be stingy with something like the art, and Deets would probably want 3 times as much room as they probably wanted to give to him, and he'd go in there and eventually get it. He'd say, "Hey, you see this, whatever." He'd sell that extra spot on that Sega Genesis. He'd sell that. That extra slot.
And management ate it up.
Oh yeah.
Because he was Mike Deets.
That's right. Yep. Oh, and Doug. Doug's got no end of admiration for old Deets. And I think he made a comment about like, well, it was kind of almost biblical. First I was a child or something like that. Basically when they I put away childish things or whatever. Anyway, he got around those guys and realized, I kind of thought I knew what I was doing. I need to step up my game.
That was Doug.
Yeah, that was Doug.
Deets. Doug.
Yeah, he got around. He got around.
Yeah.
And and those, that is the best thing about a community, like being able to shoehorn yourself around all those that supercell of creativity, like at a animation studio or whatever. You get to pick up on a lot of stuff and learn stuff you wouldn't learn otherwise.
Yeah, I could
It,
see
it
that.
it's like if you had ever gotten a Marvel job, you would have had to learn stuff at about 3 times the rate you would have ordinarily had to learn it, and
Oh
that would have
yeah,
been good
absolutely.
for you. You would have got
Yeah,
you would get a lot of notes, and you know that sort of thing.
yeah. There was a guy. I'm in a Facebook group about making comics or whatever. And there was a guy that was complaining because he he he's a writer and he hired an artist, and apparently the artist was complaining about revisions, and it just kind of and he was kind of putting it out there, and people were kind of taking him to task. But I'm like, well, he hired him. He kind of knows what he wants.
Hmm.
I mean, that's any job. You have to kind of do what the person writing the check wants.
Hmm.
Of course, the internet with its, great perception. Of course, all these artists come out of the woodwork and they're like, well, you sound like a dick. I'd never work for you. It's like, well, maybe you should look at the guy's art before you say that. He may be right.
Hmm.
You know, I
I'm
mean,
doing
yeah.
I'm doing a piece here. It's got a dragon in a lair, but it's not a dragon. I've got to make it look like wood. It's supposedly a wood sculpture of dragon head mounted like a trophy. So I got to do that
Oh, cool.
in a kind of a lair that's all thorny. So for Thorn Research, I went to, of course, Sleeping Beauty, so and so Earl.
Okay.
He Have you ever seen Sleeping Beauty?
You know what? I don't think I have.
Oh my, that movie scarred me in a good
Is it
way.
good?
Oh my God, yes.
Oh,
The
really?
deal is though,
We're working our.
I think they put out some sort of restored, touched up version of it that is an atrocity. Uh, that I hope they've gone back in and done it over because they super saturated some color and did some things to it that were it was amateur hour on what they did to
Really?
it. Yeah, it's Disney dealing with a
That
classic. Doesn't sound
doesn't
right,
seem
does
right.
it? Yeah.
No. We have Disney Plus, and we've been working our way through the animated movies.
Oh,
In a few weeks, we're going to Disney World. So,
oh yeah, yeah. Oh, how about that? You're going to Disney World while the political stuff is all raging
oh
around it.
yeah, who knows what I'm going to go into?
I
Wouldn't be the
didn't.
first time I've come up in the middle of a riot.
Yeah, you went to New York right in the middle of the Antifa kind of activities
I was
going on.
yeah, I was in the middle of a I don't know, I was in the middle of a riot in New York City.
Yeah.
Speaking of New York City, our friend from New York called the other night, and she was just like, she wants to leave, but she knows if she leaves, she'll never be able to move back.
Mm-hmm.
And her apartment and her taxes and her maintenance fees on her apartment are outrageous. And she's like, I'm gonna run out of money. I have to do something,
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, you could probably sell your apartment and move to Oklahoma and live quite nicely. She's not working, which is one thing. She needs to get a job. And I said, while you're looking, but she doesn't like going out of her house because she said there's like homeless people everywhere.
Oh yeah.
A guy
Oh
in Dorman was stabbed in her neighborhood. I mean, it's crazy. She lives in a nice area, Ellis.
yep.
And
Yeah. Oh well, yeah. That's the reason Michael Malice left. All these people are left New York. They fled. They all went to
yep. And
Austin.
I'm trying to convince her to flee. Well, what I'm trying to convince her is she should, when she's looking for a job, because she is looking for a job, she should at least broaden her search to Oklahoma. I said, you probably won't make the money you would in New York, but I guarantee you could live for a tenth of what you live for in New York. maybe not a tenth, but you could live for quite a bit less and
Oh
be
yeah.
perfectly happy.
Hey John. John asked me if I'm planning on another oil painting. I got to finish this one first, but this one, get the glare off of it. This one is coming out pretty good. The main bulk of it, all I'll have to do is mix up on my palette every iteration of blue I want to use. It won't take much, and I'll finish Batman up. And I got to finish Joker up. I decided to totally rescale him. There's a bunch of drawing going on in that one. So yeah, I got some cool Frazetta-esque kind of abstraction going on with my moon and everything. I don't know how much detail comes through with my cheesy camera. So yeah, I got that one planned. But I tell you what, the biggest flaw in this is preparation before the drawing was done. And it's just not a smooth enough board. And I've learned from watching some YouTube videos of how to get that gesso on there smooth. Next time, it's going to be like I'm working on an illustration board. When I do the drawing, it'll be so much better that way.
Yeah, sand that board.
Yeah, well, sand it, but you don't want to work that hard. You want it you want to be able to put it down kind of smooth before you start. Tuned in late. This piece is, of course, this in-world. This is this adventurer is just all I was given as guidance on that. I'm doing a kind of a knight with a spear in his hand, walking into a lair, just some sort of mystery lair that he's encountering this, for whatever reason, giant wooden head of a dragon. Seems like to me I assume the store.
Is it mounted?
It's mounted.
Is the head mounted on a wall?
Yeah.
So you need to put it on a plaque. It looks like you have it on a base of some sort.
Yeah, I've got it on plaque.
The dragon.
I'm gonna scan this and move my elements around. I'm just going ahead and making the drawing real finishy, just so I when I scan it, start moving the parts around, and then I'll trace up a good line drawing, and that'll just as clean as I can make it. Right now, it's all got a lot of pencil smudge.
Yeah.
It'll get cleaner.
Well, I got to take my car in to get. Did I tell you about my car?
What happened with your car?
My car was making this excessive road noise. I took it in, and they said, well, your tire is worn uneven. I said, well, what would cause that? Because I bought it from there not long ago. And they kind of hem and haw and said, well, we don't really know. Well, I figured out it's because they don't do anything except put tires on a car.
Yeah.
And so they're not going to tell me, well, I did some research. I think it's misaligned. I think not misaligned. I think it needs an alignment.
Mm-hmm.
And so they don't do that. So they're not going to tell me, well, it needs to be aligned. Take it over here to our competitor and have it aligned.
Mm-hmm.
So tomorrow I got an appointment to get my car aligned. It seems like every time I take the thing in, it costs me about 3 times what I think it's going to cost.
Yeah.
Oh,
God.
Yeah. I think my next car is going to be a truck. I want a little truck kind of like you got.
Mm-hmm.
I think. The problem is they don't make little trucks anymore.
They don't.
I mean, a little truck now is huge, like too big to fit in my garage.
Yeah.
Ford is getting ready to come out with one, and I was reading about it. It sounds kind of promising, but I don't know. I'm skeptical of non-Japanese quality in a vehicle.
Yeah, I am. It's kind of sad, but yeah, Ford has bought for itself some, some cred. They apparently are
reliable.
Yeah.
So that I don't know. I don't know if that's what I'm gonna get. I mean, I'm probably a year away from getting a car, but it takes me a while to decide. I'm pretty picky. Well, the problem is for 3 cars. I buy a car and drive it for 6 or 7 years.
Mm-hmm.
And I went 3 cars. All I got were Honda Civics. And so you kind of get into that mode, and you're out of the mode of, I need to evaluate what I want to drive.
Mm-hmm.
I like the new Z's, but I don't know. Who knows how much they'd cost? And man, I think my Subaru's bad on. Yeah, I think it cost me a fortune to drive one of those. And I kind of, I got my car, and it's a nice car. I have a Subaru WRX, and it's a pretty fast car. But man, you just get tired of driving something where you're like in traffic, and you're like, why are we not going faster? I should go around these people. It's more frustrating most of the time than fun. I mean, once in a while it's pretty fun, but for the most part, I just get frustrated at traffic.
Yeah, it's frustrating in Oklahoma that there always seems to be someone has created a bottleneck in in such a low populated kind of area that should never get as much slowed down traffic as it does get. It's very annoying.
Yeah, well, they're usually on their phone or smoking weed or both.
Mm-hmm. Rubberneckers. Boy, I tell you what. Yeah. Oh man, gosh, L.A. Come over that 405. Coming. What is it? The Sepulveda Pass. Yeah. Oh my gosh. I've encountered so much rubbernecking, just bringing things to total stop. I think the days that it didn't happen were more rare than days. What was great, every time they'd have a state or federal holiday, it's like it would diminish. Diminish the population by 20% or something like that, and all of a sudden it was like, woohoo! This is fun.
Yeah, I got spoiled.
Get places. Yeah.
I got spoiled driving to work during COVID. It's like, man, this is great. I get to work in 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, well, hey, dude, I think I'm going to let you go.
Okay, in broadcast, we have been at it 57 minutes. We did good, I think. I just wanted to tell you the 2 weird things that happened to me, and you have to agree. They were weird.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Hey, John, thanks for joining us. See you next time, I guess.
Yeah.
You want to say anything else?
Me? No, thanks to everybody that joins. Sorry
later,
I wasn't more
eventually.
Sorry I wasn't more entertaining today. I'm pretty wore out.
Wore out.
I am tired. I took the day off work tomorrow, so
Okay.
Catch up on my beauty sleep.
Yeah. Okay. We're out.